Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at the famous Blue Note Jazz Club here in New York City. Tonight, blessing the band stage is Grammy-nominated jazz pianist, composer, and band leader Christian Sands. Now, as you might know here on the Pace Report, for the last 14 years, I've interviewed and profiled a lot of musicians at the very, very beginning of the career. And tonight, I'm honored to show the progression of how Christian Sands has really taken his language and made it his own, moving Black American music forward. Tonight here at Blue Note, he's going to be playing with some very special friends, and I had a chance to sit down with him briefly to talk about this album, how Bruce Lee played a very, very important part of his influence on this recording, as well as how COVID changed how he's shedded his music as far as composing and how he's played, but also how the business model of the music industry has changed since this world has shut down for almost 2 years. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of the great Christian Sands with special guests live here at the famous Blue Note Jazz Club here on the Pace Report here in New York City. congratulations, Grammy nominated. This album was influenced by the great Bruce Lee. And I guess Bruce Lee is very important because he became an accidental star that was taken way too early.
Yes, absolutely.
Why did Bruce come into your music or to your side?
Well, Bruce has always been there. You know, I grew up watching his movies. I grew up, my dad and my brother, we watched, Fist of Fury, Game of Death, all the movies. And I also used to do martial arts when I was a kid, and my father was a martial arts instructor at a certain point in his life. So it's always been, martial arts has always been there, but Bruce Lee has always been there because I grew up with him. I grew up with that sound. I grew up with watching him with the punches and kicks and just the excellence and the accuracy, And so I guess sort of it's always been there. And when I was doing Be Water, when I was writing the music for Be Water, I was flying, I was traveling a lot. And of course, when you travel, you load up your iPad with all sorts of movies and everything. And so I loaded it up with Quentin Tarantino movies and Bruce Lee movies. I grew up doing martial arts, so the discipline, but the creativity, I think it just went hand in hand with me learning piano. I didn't really think about the relationship between the two because I was doing both at the same time when I was a kid. So I think they just melded into one another. As I practice, as I compose, as I improvised, I was sitting there and I was also trying to have some purpose with what I'm trying to say with the compositions or with my lines or, and it's the same thing when you're doing martial arts. I mean, there's certain things that you learn the basics and certain things that you can be creative with. And also with an opponent, you don't know what they're going to do. So you have to be ready at all times. And the same thing with the music. You don't really know where this music's going to go. So you have to be ready at all times. So there is sort of similarity between the two. I mean, I think they're one and the same. I think martial arts and jazz arts are the same to me.
We've been in a very different world these last 2 years, man. How has COVID affected you playing and composing? And now that you're just like all over the world right now, you've been working really, really hard. What are some of the things that you took from just shutting down, just doing nothing?
Well, self-reflection, one. There's moments where we're just so busy and we're just so busy doing things and just really just on the go, just 24/7, especially as touring musicians, as a touring artist. But when all of that stops, you now have the quiet. And so what does that mean? For me, I've been touring since I've been 9 years old. So it reverted back to me being 9 when it was just quiet. So it was a very interesting time for me. Self-discovery, self-reflection, who am I at home? Who am I when I'm not performing? Who am I, when I'm not in front of an audience? Because I'm so used to being in front of an audience to the point where audience is home for me. And home is like being on tour, it's the reverse. So for me, finding that home again and finding that energy in that space and who am I in this space now was really therapeutic, and it was really amazing to discover because a lot of things had to happen. I grew my hair out. A lot of people always saw me with a short haircut. A lot of people always saw me in a suit. When you go from a year and a half of just sweatpants, it's kind of hard to put a suit back on. But there was a certain thing that I found in it. I found a certain part of me that I would get a little bit of in between the tours. And so I didn't really nurture that. I nurtured more of the performance Christian and that artist Christian. But as I come home, and stayed home, it was very much like okay, well, now this is really who I am. Let me nurture this person. And this person influences all the other stuff. So now, as you see on stage, it's a very different show. It's a very different performance. It's a very different approach to music because I've been sitting with it. I've been sitting with myself. I've been reflecting with myself. I've been, more family time, more trips to mom's house. You know, like there's a lot of these things that have developed, which was a beautiful thing, a very scary thing for personal reasons, but also just a really amazing trip, you know. And so now going back on the road and touring, it's I appreciate it so much more now. I mean, I did before, I didn't take it for granted, but now because everyone is hungry for it, you know. And I'm hungry to express myself, and they're hungry to hear me express myself, and I'm hungry to communicate with them as they are to communicate with me. So it's a wonderful, 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 wonderful journey that we're on right now.
Go. was a hell of a band, man. I mean,
Thank you.
And the reason I came out tonight, I really wanted to come out last night for the Errol Garner. We're gonna get into that in a second.
Yes.
But I wanted to see you reunite with
Yeah.
a man that hooked you up when you were starting off.
Absolutely.
What was it like reuniting with Christian McBride?
Well, we played a few times over the year, over the pandemic, with different spot dates, you know, of his, which is always fun. But we never got to get to it. You know, it might be like a little gala event where you're playing one or two tunes, or we also performed on the Kennedy Center anniversary. So we played, I think, 3 songs there. One was with Diane Reeves and the orchestra, you know. And so always amazing, but not enough. You know, and so tonight, putting this band together, I had 3 nights, and so the first night I was like, okay, let me do my original trio. Second night, let me do the Errol Garner trio that I have, and the third night, let me just invite my friends. And so Christian was the first person I thought of, and also just to play and have 2 sets of just playing. We haven't done that in a long time, so to do that, and also to have it with Terreon, Gully, and Jimmy Greene. I mean, like, you know, we can go anywhere with the music, so. To explore with him is always fun, but to do it in this configuration, I think is so much fun because we haven't really played together in a long time. So, yeah.
What's it like?
It's like that.
Yeah, I hear it. They getting there. It's a party.
That's what it's like.
It's a party going on. What is with you about Errol Garner now? Because when we talked, what was it, 10, 12 years ago, we weren't talking about Errol Garner, but now you've discovered him and rediscovered what he's been doing, well, what he's left us. What does he mean to you as a pianist?
Everything, man. Like Errol, I identify with him so much, you know, on a personal level because, you know, I grew up reading music, but I didn't like to, so I would always play by ear, and so listening to Errol, there's a similarity that I feel there because just the freedom he has with it, and I love that. I love how he can just do anything. You know, his introductions. I mean, his introductions are absolutely incredible. I mean, there should just be a whole record of just the intros because it's so unique and it's so ahead of its time. Really,
the touch,
the angular aspect of it, the dynamics of it, the harmonies of it, the speed, the you know, like there's so many things that no one was doing at that time. Like nobody I can think of was doing that. And then going into some swing and some really heavy, straight up, just like in your face swing at blistering tempos, at some medium tempo. I mean, like Errol was incredible. And I have to say, the only reason I'm a part of it is because of the late great Jerry Allen.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry was working with the Errol Garner project in Octave Music, and there was a concert that we did at Monterey Jazz Festival celebrating the reissue of Concert by the Sea, and she put together a show with myself, Jason Moran, and her. Victor Lewis and Derek Olis on bass, and Russell Malone on guitar. And preparing for that show, she met with, I don't know if she met with anybody else, but she met with me. We got together in New York in a practice room, and we just listened to Errol. And to listen to Errol with Jerry, to watch Jerry listen to Errol was amazing. Because this is, I mean, Jerry Allen, rest in peace, Jerry Allen, but another ultimate pianist, you know, can do anything, can literally, I mean, touch everything, influence so many musicians. And to listen to her listen to Errol was deep because she would hear certain things and she just pulled that out. I was like, okay, well, let's play with that. Let's do this, you know, and it was so much fun. So fast forward, when Jerry was passing away, I saw her in the hospital. And we sort of spoke. She wasn't speaking at that time, but we kind of communicated. And then about a week after that, I got a call from the Errol Garner Project, and they asked me to come aboard. Now, Jerry was already kind of grooming me to be in it, but I was going to be a part of the more like the youth ministry kind of thing, you know, like taking care of the Instagram and all that stuff for the kids. With her untimely passing, I ended up inheriting the whole, being the creative ambassador, the whole title. So now, but I've always loved Errol anyway, but because of Jerry, I took a closer dive to it. I really went in deep, and now being the creative ambassador, it's gone a lot deeper because I'm with the music all the time. I'm hearing music that hasn't been released. I'm hearing outtakes. I'm hearing practice sessions. I'm hearing all these things, and I'm really like, man, Errol was just really the ultimate of ultimate pianists.
He didn't study music at all. He
did because he was it. He didn't, I wouldn't say he studied it in a way of like, let me write this down and let me do it. Like, he did it in a very organic way where it's like he was it. Anything he heard, he absorbed. So you didn't necessarily have to read it, because he can just be it.
Right.
And then he can just, push it back out into the world in this amazing way that no one else could do. You had Art Tatum that was also around as well, who, as we know, was God. If you could have multiple gods, Errol is right there with him, because the way they played, the entire piano, the things that they did, the harmony that they chose, the way they just got into tunes, the way they got out of tunes, the way they communicated with the audience, the way they communicated with their bandmates. There's so many different things that these artists did, and also being, I was talking about this the other day with a friend of mine, being one of the most important, famous African Americans in the world. Recognized as that in a time where that doesn't happen.
Right.
Between him and Louis Armstrong, and Duke Ellington. There's these people that just surpassed these expectations that were expected of us as black people. And so Errol was somebody who's with kings and queens and being treated as such. And so it's amazing to just really dive into the music and also his life and just really just try to understand, like, okay, who is this gentleman? Where did he go? What happened? And so that's my job, is to find out, like, okay, well, what happened, and tell people about it.
We lost some very, very important heavyweights on the piano. And two of them I want your take on. In fact, I'm going to ask all the pianists this year, man.
Please.
We lost the great Dr. Barry Harris.
Yes.
And we also lost the great Chick Corea. And we also lost McCoy Tyner.
Yes.
Tell me, give me your reflections of Dr. Barry Harris. First time you met him and some of the things he imparted.
Wow. First time I met Dr. Harris was 2006. I was a part of the Grammy, Gibson and Baldwin Grammy Jazz Ensemble. And it was the same time that I played with Oscar Peterson. There's a video of that, of me playing duet with Oscar Peterson. And I met him preparing for that concert. So the concert, I was in the big band led by Justin DeChocho. And Barry Harris and Hank Jones were to be featured in the show. And Oscar at the time was not playing. He had retired and he was in a wheelchair and he's like, I'm not going to play. So myself and another pianist, Yuma Sung, we were going to be playing pieces for Oscar. But we were also performing in the big band too. So, you know, I got there for rehearsal. I was the first one there to check out the piano play. And here comes Barry and Hank come in as I'm playing. And so I stop. You know, and I'm actually practicing the things that we're working on. And, you know, Hank is like, no, keep going, keep going. And so I was playing Autumn in New York. And I finished up, you know, just kind of, I didn't know the tune at the time, and so I was learning it. And so Hank sat down, he's like, let me show you a little bit, you know, he taught me through some keys. And then Barry got on and he was like, oh, well, he's doing it his way, let me show you my way. And Barry sat down and he just, the things, I mean, both of them, I mean, it's you know, Hank Jones, the way he did it, and Barry, the way they did it. And then they both sat me down and then taught me different ways to end the song. And I must have been there for maybe 40 minutes early. Everyone was outside and I was just watching Barry and Hank just end this tune in different keys and different ways and all this kind of stuff. And he was just so amazing. Barry and Hank both were incredible. You know, incredible teachers, incredible gentlemen, you know, funny guys. Barry was so funny. You know, and I got to spend some time with him there. I got to spend some time with him at his workshops. You know, I've been to a few, and just listening to him teach. Not even just content of just like, okay, you know, this is what he's doing, but I'm also talking about the way he taught. You know, I mean, you could be a beginner, you could be an advanced student, you could be Herbie Hancock, you know, but how he broke down the information was so amazing that he didn't leave any stone unturned. He didn't leave anything where you didn't understand what it was, you know. He didn't break it down in a way and then he's like, okay, well, for the advanced students it's this and for the intermediate students it's this. I mean, everything was just information that you can just take and go with, you know. So Barry Harris, I mean, was the ultimate educator.
He was here. He was put on this earth to do that.
Absolutely. And then watching him perform and do that with the audience too, and not in a way where it's cheeky or in a way where he's downplaying the audience, but really educating the audience, like him and Dr. Billy Taylor and Hank Jones. Like, there's a way that they did it in a performance setting where you're just like, man, this is magic. You know, the way they got people together, the way they entertained, but also played the most piano that you can play, and the things that they could do. I mean, like, you know, I mean, it's incredible. I'm in awe. I'm still in awe when I turn on the records, when I listen to it, when I listen to his arrangements of certain songs, or the touch, the feel. You know, I mean, it's really incredible. So rest in peace, Barry Harris. We miss him, but his legacy will always go on, and all the people he's touched.
Chick Corea, another.
Again, you know, again, Chick, I didn't know him well. I met him a few times, but every time I met him, he was gracious. He was incredible. The last time I saw him was here at the Blue Note, in this dressing room, actually. and he was playing duet with Herbie Hancock, and I knew Herbie, but I didn't know Chick well. But you know, I came in to say hello to both of them and just talk, and Chick took some time out and was like, hey, this is what I'm doing, you know, I like your playing, keep doing it, you know. And just to be around the energy of him was awesome, you know. Amazing person, funny guy, you know, really, really funny person, you know. I wish I got the chance to hang out with him more. The very first person I met linked to Chick, actually playing in the Grammy band, was his wife, Gail. So I was playing the after party after the Grammys with the big band, and I think I was grabbing some hors d'oeuvres on our break or something like that, and I ran into Gail, and Gail was talking to me about Chick and music, and I mean, it was just so incredible. So Chick has always kind of been in my life anyway, you know. And then also with Christian McBride, hearing the stories and, like, you know, playing some of the arrangements that him and Chick would play, you know, was amazing. But I wish I got a chance to hang out with him a lot more, because there was so much more information I wanted to ask him.
As a composer and as a pianist,
yeah,
what do you think his most important part of his legacy?
It's hard, because everything he did was just important to artistry, to music, to expression. I mean, like, everything Chick played was incredible. You know, everything he wrote, every album cover, every band he put together, every band he played in, you know, listening to those Blue Mitchell records with him playing, I mean, swinging his behind off, you know. Chick was just incredible. Again, like a machine, you know. I mean, Chick, McCoy, I mean, all of these pianists were incredible at what they did, how they mastered the instrument, the time they put into it, the things that they got out of it, and they all sounded so different, you know. I mean, it's all the same 88 keys, but the way they resonated with it, you know. I mean, Chick, listening to Chick just play a scale, I mean, you could play the C major scale, it's just incredible.
And you know it's him.
Touch, sound, you know, dynamics, you know, just the way that he would play. Chick really played with music, you know, and that's the amazing thing that a lot of people don't do. You know, watching Chick was playful. You know, again, going back to Errol Garner, you know, like, there's a playfulness with it. It wasn't this serious thing, and it was like, you know, I have to do this and like, he was having fun, you know, when he played, you know, and that's what I loved about watching him, was that he was so much fun to watch, you know, and listen to, because you never knew what it was going to be. I mean, you could play the same tune 5 times in a row and you would never know what was going to happen. So Chick was another person. I also saw him at Carnegie Hall play duet with Bobby McFerrin.
Woo!
And it was 2 hours of improvised music, and it was just mind melting. You know, I was in college. I think I was a sophomore in college at Manhattan School of Music, and a couple of friends of mine were like, "Oh, we're gonna go see Chick." We got some tickets, and it was just like, that's what I want to do. You know, I want to be able to do that. I don't know how, but I want to do that. You know, it was just so free and so purposeful in the stories and playful, and like, it was just like, that's, you know, it was like watching a magician. You know, it was like watching an entertainer. It really was like watching a bullfighter. You know, really tackling this music, but having fun and just playing around. You know, like, it's really just incredible to watch him. You know, and then with Bobby McFerrin also, and just the things they would play off of each other, like, incredible, awesome, absolutely awesome.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at the famous Blue Note Jazz Club here in New York City. I'd like to personally congratulate Mr. Christian Sands on his Grammy nomination for instrumental composition for Be Water 2, which is on his current album Be Water, which is on Mack Avenue Records. For more information on his upcoming tour dates, as well as to order his CD, please visit him online at christiansandsjazz.com, and also follow him on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. People, I can't stress this more than enough. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on YouTube and Vimeo, as well as leave comments, as well as visit my website, thepacereport.com, for my weekly column, as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.
Thank you.